Good morning. We are live. We turn down our music. This is the Morning Word Show. My name is Joseph. I am the Walking Mall Poet in Winchester, Virginia. This is Morning Word Show number 59. This is pretty good. I had a busy weekend typing, not all at once, but in little spurts, and did really well being able to type at a car show and over in several different towns and having a good time and just really bopping with it, which is cool. This week I'm going to be really focusing on trying to expand out the different types of work that I reach out for, like grants and things like that. Like that's going to be my new project. But first, to start this morning off, a poem, because that's what I do. But this is a special poem. This poem I am going to be writing, I think she's already left the house, but I'm going to be writing for my wife and her fellow teachers. Today is the first day that they are going back to teaching. Well, they're not actually teaching today, but they start 2 weeks of orientation. My wife has not worked in 6 months at the school that she's at because they shut down in March and then never really went back, never really did much of anything at that time. So this is going to kind of be a dedication poem to her. It'll also be a COVID poem because it's going to really kind of talk out those feelings of trying to educate during the pandemic, the challenges. There's a lot of political confusion on that as well. So I do not want to imply that I am this or that on that side of the issue, but the fact is it's a thing that is happening. And that is what I'm going to write about. So I'm going to bring back our music. Let me see what we have playing right now. Let's see, we got a different song. There we go. All right. And we'll get to writing. If you are tuning in, feel free to drop in the chat hello. Let me know how your weekend went. The joys, the sorrows, the energies. It's all there. I gotta put this aside because that's important. I have believe it or not, her and I interact a lot during the day. So I think that this week is gonna really energize a little more because I'm going to be able to spend more time during the daytimes zoned into the work. Not that I want her gone, because I like those distractions, so I will miss her. I'm also proud to announce that this week will be the first week that the Morning Word Show, well, not the Morning Word Show necessarily, but that I will be doing some writing in the evenings this week. On Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. EST, I will be live doing more writing as such. And then Wednesday during the day, I will have my first typewriter repair live stream, which will be exciting. I'm also buying myself a selfie camera, which I should probably do that. Alrighty, let's do this. Woo. A return. To see these hungry halls after your 6 months of summer, gives off that tremor of yearning for what was. Innocence that life was always much the same. You must now claim a new world as your own. Take courage for the little ones seeking the way. Take heart to choose kindness over days of fear. Take mind to sift innovation from trepidation. The tornado landed you here. The witches scream above in their castles of power, but you are home, even if it will never be the same again. There's definitely a lot that I could put into that in terms of expanding upon the Wizard of Oz metaphor. So a little background personally. My wife is a theater teacher, and they were putting on Wizard of Oz, and the production they were able to do the production for the other kids in the school, but they weren't able to do a production for parents. It got canceled right around March. So that metaphor is really strong with her and with the school right now. But yeah, so that's why the courage, heart, and mind, brains, heart, and courage are the metaphor. And then the tornado, the witches. So, yeah, that is a metaphor for what she's dealing with. Sorry, that was a sneeze. All the way live across the internet. So, I'm going to send her a picture of that later on. In the meantime, I am looking at all sorts of stuff here that I need to sort out, figure out. I had my papers somewhere. My whole paper thing, I know it's somewhere. Did I take it out and then not proceed not to bring it over here? I need a holding screen. That's what I need. All right. One second. I'm going to put the... I'll be right back to go find my papers. They were there the whole time. The whole time. The whole time they were there. Let us pull them out then. I haven't gotten a chance to sort through some of the paperwork from yesterday. This is trash. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think I was working through that, and I might have finished it, actually. Just evaluating my different pieces here. This one, I'm not going to show it for long, is Relax Your Mind's next poem. Finish that. Is part of the fact that he subscribed to the Patreon, which is indeed very exciting. I have a lot of spare crap lying around here. Look at all this. It's interesting what type of stuff kind of just pops around in my folder. including all the unanswered letters. I bet you this stream will not last too long today because I have a lot of not writing work to be working on. Hi, Lucina Rose 101. What's up? Welcome to the stream. I do typewriter poetry. If you give me a request, I can do a poem. Currently, I'm looking at all of my paperwork and trying not to feel too overwhelmed. I have a lot to catch up on in terms of that, but I would love to type for you if you have a poem in mind. This is what I do here. So you can watch the poem as it is being created from the typewriter. And what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for my unfinished poems that I need to work on of my own, but I can always do something of your request. And I know they're out there, these extra poems of mine. This one, yeah, let me just put these in quick piles to get myself sorted out. But that's what I do. I write poetry live on the stream. These three are going to be dated. Multitude of Amy's. I don't think I ever got to finish this poem, but I got to check. Just out of curiosity, what color are your socks? Oh, that's great. My socks are actually not on my feet. Believe it or not, I am doing that typical thing where it's like I'm barefoot because I don't need to worry about the bottom half. Basically, I am barefoot and I am just here streaming, and yeah, so the socks are invisible. That would be a nice topic for a poem. That would be kind of cool. Sorry about the screen there. So invisible socks. 23 final poem. What about your socks? What color are your socks? This is why I like doing these live streams, because so unique, the type of questions. Like, you could just pop on the internet and you can ask a random stranger what color their socks are. And I think it's funny. I think it's great. No, you may not see your bare feet, my bare feet. Those bare feet will unfortunately remain out of the picture. I do appreciate, but no, I just simply sit in the seat, and that's all that I do. But I can write a poem about feet. I could write a poem about socks. I could do any of that. So I will work, I'm comfortable with kind of getting a little loose in terms of writing this morning. I need to loosen up. So I think I might write that poem about socks and kind of see where it goes, because I have never written a poem about socks in my life, ever. Ever at all. And I think that it would be funny to kind of dive into that topic. And I would prefer, I'm tired of trying to chip away at my projects. It's not a very writing-y day for me, but other days have been very writing-y days. Lucina Rose 101, a poem about socks. The music today is provided by Akira the Don. He is a lo-fi artist that allows people to use his music. He is awesome. I highly recommend him. Sometimes regal in the cold is not for the warm. Sometimes all right, poem is done. Hot off the presses. Title of the poem is Feet Gloves. Feet Gloves. Feeling out the world with the fibers of feline tact. Our toes wriggle in the cold, if not for the warm, sometimes smelly, often pretty, socks on their fronts. Forgetting that our lower hands lost their grip on branches and snatches of food years ago. So to avoid the rough leather tearing asunder the softer side, we protect, glove with respect, our every step left in our pep. And then just to show you that poem, right there, poem. Feet Gloves, a poem about socks. Feeling out the world with the fibers of feline tact. Our toes wriggle in the cold, if not for the warm, sometimes smelly, often pretty socks on their fronts. Forgetting that our lower hands lost their grip on branches and snatches of food years ago. So to avoid the rough leather tearing asunder the softer side, we protect, glove with respect, our every step left in our pep. That's for Lucina Rose 101. Lucina, if you like that poem, you can get the copy mailed to you. Otherwise, I don't even know if you're still in the chat or if you abandoned us after I did not honor your feet-based request. But regardless, it is fun to write for you, and it's fun to explore a totally different topic. Frankly, I've been very caught up in COVID poems and poems based on what I'm seeing on the street, and a lot of people asking for some pretty deep stuff. That this was fun. This was an escape. It was a good poem to write. I am going to continue sorting out my papers, and while I do that, I'll probably talk a little bit out about my existential crisis I've had. But if at any point anybody needs or wants or has an idea for any poems, let me know. Yeah, so I from Friday into now, I really got upset because I was struggling a lot with. I should probably take the laptop camera off. I was struggling a lot with just being so busy and caught up in everything. Oh, gosh. And kind of not knowing where the sense of direction was with my job. And I saw a really interesting video from this guy named Andrew Kirby, who's a time theorist. And he talked about how he, that people do the grind, and the grind is good, but sometimes they don't understand the transition between working hard all the time and then working smart. This poem is finaled out, right? So this can be a Patreon scan. I'm just evaluating my different pieces of art. There we go. Yeah, that's Patreon. And so, yeah, that's kind of what happened. And I really struggled with it, honestly. I struggled with the with getting caught up in that. I don't want to say anxiety, but there definitely was anxiety. But that you're creating and you're building a business and you're building something, and then you reach this level where you realize that some things aren't working and kind of having to pivot. I'm still very busy with a lot of different things going on. I like it that way, but it's just more so that I think I'm ready to get into that routine of doing the one thing that I know that it's working for me and kind of building that up. And there's so many different facets that street poetry can go, and part of it can go into streaming, and part of it can go into writing grants, and writing based off of grants, and part of it can go into being able to do events and reaching out to people to run events, and coronavirus is kind of like hanging all over it. And so it's not, and like I haven't done a lot of all of those. I've done a lot of the streaming side, answering emails, cleaning up papers, but I need to be more like really diving into those new areas and balancing that with the other work that I do. And so I did do like a lot of hours last week in terms of work, but it could have been a little better. And that's just kind of the feeling right now, is really kind of just trying to figure all that out. But I don't want to overthink it, because I've been accused of that as well, in a good way, by some friends, new friends, told me, you're overthinking everything. And they're not wrong. But I don't know if they're right either. That like, there are moments to dip into that analysis, but as long as I balance it with everything else, then I think I'll feel very comfortable with it. Yeah. I am thinking that I might end the stream a little early today so I can kind of dive into some of those additional projects. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. It's nice to have a little bit of a shorter stream sometimes, and we can do longer streams, when I get the time to actually sit, plan everything out and stuff like that. And that's part of the issue, is I just building that. There's a level of discipline that I'm so close to right here, and it's here. And that level of discipline is just doing a small checklist every day of literally keeping track of my expenses, keeping track of miles, keeping track of what the plan is for the next day, keeping track of the plan for today, and all that stuff. And there are live streams where I haven't planned anything and things have been okay. There are live streams where I have planned things and they haven't been good. Vice versa, though, there are live streams where I plan it and it helps, and I'm so glad that I had those plans. And then other times when I didn't plan anything and then it really turned out like this, which is kind of like me just not sure what's up. But I like the chatting part of it. If people are still here and wanted to chat, they can, but they don't have to. A space is a space for you to be present with the poetry. And yeah, I think that that's a good way to kind of end off. I would read more if I had prepared more poems, and that's part of all the things I just need to get into a routine of. And honestly, it's a good place to be. I'm having fun. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm stumbling. As Jordan Peterson says, I'm stumbling towards the kingdom of God. That's kind of what it feels like. he talks about that more in terms of art, but like I feel that more in terms of just kind of life process. That it's not. I'm not perfect. I'm nowhere near perfect, but it's getting to a better point. You know, it's a good. I'm excited for what the future has to hold. Anyway, I want to thank everybody that was tuning in. I'll go through the chat, the users in the chat. As I see, Spencer Grove is in here as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, letting the kind of the background side of it, and then there's a couple of other users in the chat. Looks like, but I don't know if those are actual users or if those are just lurking bots. So, thank you so much, and you all have a wonderful day.